Hi, yeah, I'm Gwen. I live just outside of Denver, Colorado, and I am a software product manager.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Awesome. And to set the stage for us, can you share where you were in your job search before you happened upon Career Amp? So kind of what was happening?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually had months earlier started working with a different career coach about just try like leadership, trying to figure out my brand and a lot of things like that. And had been working with that coach for a number of months. But just before I joined Career Amp, my time with that coach was kind of winding down, and I happened to get laid off from like a lot of people in technology roles right now are experiencing. So I was at this weird little crossroads where I felt like I was done with the work I was doing with my previous coach, and I had a whole new challenge to try and solve for myself of trying to land my next role and how to incorporate that into all the work I'd already been trying to think about longer term where I wanted to be. So it was kind of an odd spot to be in, and I felt like the urgency of wanting to land and also wanting to keep in mind all the work I'd been trying to do about advancing my leadership role in my career.
Yeah, the ramp down of the current coach you were working with, and then the layoff happened. I'm so sorry about that. And you found yourself in a pickle, wanting to kind of keep that going. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. Needed some new different energy injected into the process of figuring out my next chapter.
that's awesome. Okay, so you kind of went out there. It sounds like you have it on Career Amp, and maybe you were also looking at other options. But I'm curious on what made you choose Career Amp versus some of the other options that are out there.
Yeah, well, I mean, honestly, when I spoke with the first person whose name I can't remember now, we spoke with when I was first getting pitched the program, it was like kind of that threefold thing of like figure out your brand, figure out your networking, and everything like that. And I was like that middle piece of like the networking, being strategic about who I talk to, who I'm reaching out to, and kind of what the purpose is behind it, was huge to me. And then all of the tools for helping with interview practicing and landing and whatnot, all was very appealing. I'd been as I said with my previous coach, been working on a lot of some of that stuff already, but like the real focus on like, here, we're going to take these three things and pull you together and get you where you need to be, really appealed to me. So that was sort of the first thing I would say. And then meeting and like getting some testimonials from or about previous experiences people had had with the coaches, and the caliber of coaches that you've got. Jeepers Creepers is way up there. So that was a huge part of it for me.
Awesome. Shout out to the coaches if you're watching this. That's great. And so, if I did the math correctly, I think the time between the day that you joined and the time that you got your first offer was about 8 weeks, and you subsequently had a couple other offers that piled in afterwards, which we're so thrilled about. So I definitely consider that a win. But I'm curious, for you, what would you consider your biggest win, if that or something else?
Yeah, no, I mean that's right up there for sure. It's like great problem to have multiple offers and trying to figure out which is the best way to go, and having the support to navigate that process really upped my game. Just not in terms of how to figure out which not just, it wasn't just getting the offers that was great. I mean, obviously that's a huge win and whatnot, but landing in that spot with the support from the coaching team that actually helped me know how to navigate it confidently and not I was very concerned about the right protocols of what to say to people and what how to negotiate an offer, and all of that kind of stuff are things that I've never been particularly comfortable with. And so not only landing multiple offers, but then being able to navigate the process of figuring out which one to take and how to negotiate the offer with the recruiter and everything like that it felt like a huge personal win to be able to like navigate that process so much more adeptly than I've ever been able to before.
It's hard. It's so hard, and you navigated it like a pro. So just huge kudos to you. And we couldn't be more thrilled. So congratulations
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
And our okay, so last question, which is if someone's watching this and they're on the fence on whether or not they should join or want to join Career Amp, what would you tell them and why?
I would definitely recommend it. I feel like the program has got such great structure to it and so many resources and so much support. And if nothing else, if you're feeling like a little bit, like I was feeling a little bit lost at sea, trying to navigate some of these processes and whatnot, and reading 1,000 different articles that I would Google or get through LinkedIn just wasn't quite cutting it. And having the support from the coaches and the program itself of just this nice organized way of like building up to the end product was great. And then the weekly sessions with having all of the support of everybody else who was also in the same boat was just so huge. I couldn't, I don't know that I could have navigated. I certainly don't think I would have landed in 8 weeks from start to finish if it had been that exact same 8 weeks without this program. I would still be floundering about most likely, because it really helped focus me and answer a lot of questions that I really needed help with. So if you're anything like me, if you're even close to that kind of situation, I would highly recommend it. It was so supportive and just like the injection of adrenaline I needed into my process right at the right moment.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Good. All right. Anything else before we sign off?
The only thing that I was actually just thinking about before we were jumping on together was like making sure people are open to being coachable is so huge. And it's really hard and challenging when you're in like a low point like I was, or I'm like, I've been laid off. I'm finishing up this program where I felt so much like support previously, like where the heck am I? How am I going to get out of this? Like being open to being coachable and being uncomfortable with that is like, is huge. Not just sort of be like, well, you told me you're going to fix me, so fix me. Coming in with that attitude of like, it's a partnership. Like I got to bring as much to the table as the coach and the program is going to bring to me. I think is really important. But if I was gonna sneak in one other thought, that would be it.
Awesome. Yeah, so powerful and so important. It's that partnership and being coachable, especially to new ways of doing things, of challenging thought patterns. It's I've gone through that in my own coaching journey, being a coachee and having a coach. So I'm glad you called that out. That's
Yeah.
great. Awesome. Well, congratulations again, Gwen. We're so thrilled for you.
Thank you so much for everything. Much appreciated.